All right, so let's make a row that looks similar to this row right here on our site, and we'll make it from scratch without using the Bootstrap grid system. So let's go ahead and go to our code, and let's copy this right here. And let's go ahead and name these example 2. All right. And what else do I want to wrap each of these in their own div. Let's just work on this first one. And then we can transfer all this over to the other 2. So what else do we need? They have an image. They have what looks like an H2 and a paragraph. So let's go ahead. Oops. Image. And let's just use that Udemy banner image. So we're in portfolio, we have to go into images, just /Udemy banner.png. So we're in portfolio, we find images, we go in there, grab Udemy banner. All right, then we need what? We'll just say an H3. This is some sample text. And what do we got here? We'll do a nice little border bottom there for that. So paragraph, this is our paragraph. All right, save that. What we want to do is come over here and say class of example 2 width 33.333%. And this is, strictly for if we want 3 columns. So that's why we have 3 divs over here. Sorry, 3 divs right here. We could change that to 25% and do 4 divs, but we're just going to do 3 divs. So here we go. Let's save this. And well, I forgot to make this X here. Save it. Let's go over here to Google Chrome, reload the page. All right, we have a couple things wrong. First, this isn't a sticky footer anymore because it's more than the content in the page is taller than the page, the content in the page is taller than the screen itself. So we want to take away the sticky footer. So go back over here. Take away this sticky footer. Save it. Reload the page. Reload it one more time. There we go. Now we're good. All right. Now, what's up with this image? Well, the image is huge. Obviously, we could make the image smaller, or just for time's sake, we're going to style it. So this div, see, this div is still 1/3 of the page here, okay? So for image, we can just say max width, and this will make it max width, and we're going to say 100%. So the max width it can be is 100% of its parent element. Its parent element is only 313 pixels, so the image can only be 313 pixels. All right, now we want this div to have a background color of the same ones as above, just to show you a little bit, because I want to talk to you about, remember that margin. Then we want margin 5 pixels. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we want margin of 5 pixels. All right. So we got that. Then we got this H3, and it's not quite the same text as that, but we want to give this H3 some padding, 5 pixels. And let's go ahead and say font size 20 pixels. And border bottom 1px solid black. And actually we want to change this from padding to margin. That way you see how the line underneath doesn't go all the way to the edge. So it does here. And of course we also want to give this paragraph padding. All right. Then we could even go up here and go image and see how there's a little space, just minuscule little space right there. We could say instead of max width 99%, we're going to say 98% because we'll now give it a margin of 1 pixel. 1%, sorry. And you can see it's nice and centered. So obviously it has a different, here his background's light or darker and his div has a light background where we're doing the opposite. So that's why you see the difference. We can also touch it up a little bit. Border radius, 5px. And we can do a box shadow of 0, 1px, 1px. And we'll do something like actually, that doesn't work because it needs to be darker than that. So we'll go. There we go. So it has a little box shadow just like his do. And you can look up box shadows up here. So it says box shadow. Box shadow property. So this is the horizontal shadow, vertical shadow, and then the blur right there. So that's a new CSS property that we learned, and you can play around with that. But going back to this, I want to show you that. So now we have this style just like he does here. And we'll take all this styling we did. So div style, let's say inner. Oops, sorry. Say class, inner example. And we want to say dot inner example. And then we'll say dot inner example img. And we have max width 98, margin 1% on both. And h3. And our example h3. And then last one, inner example paragraph. And that was just padding 5 pixels. So let's save that. Let's go over here. Save it. Reload the page. And boom, looks good. Let's go ahead and just copy this for the next two. Yep. Yeah. Looks good. One big thing I forgot to do is float it left. So, all right, now let me show you one thing. Remember in this last one, we had a paragraph class of clear. We're not going to do that. Here is paragraph. Writing. Whatever you want to put in here. All right. And if you notice, like with 1,000,000 lines, there's no paragraph afterwards clearing it. Well, there's no text afterwards clearing it, but they do a trick here. Okay, and you see with this row, what they do is they have these pseudo elements. So they have this row before, and they have this row after. And so this row after, see it, dot row pseudo element after, it has a CSS styling of clear both. And I'm going to show you the trick they use and tell you why it's helpful. So let's go back to our code and let's put in that paragraph just like we did up above. Paragraph, this is some extra text. And we'll just save that. Go over here to refresh our memories. What happens if we don't clear it? And if we change these so that there's space now, they're each 30%. Oh, wrong one. There's space now, so this moves up. Okay, so instead of having to go around and make every HTML element after we do a row here of divs say class of clear, what we're going to do is we're going to use a trick that Bootstrap uses. So let's indent this and let's make a div with a class of row example. All right. Now we are going to go over here and we'll just say row example, and we're going to say clear both. So whether it's floating left or right, it's cleared. And what the trick is, you also have to say just content and just put a space in there and say display table. All right, so this is part of the trick. And now if you reload the page, boom, we have that. I forgot to say after. So make sure you have that pseudo element after. There we go. Now, reload the page again. Sorry about that, guys. Now, if we take these and we style them to 30%, that paragraph, without having a class of clear, still stays down below. Because we now have this pseudo after tag that has clear both, content, just a little bit, space, and then display table. And that way you don't have to go around each time you do a row like this and say, for the next HTML element, whether it's a paragraph or whatever it is, to give it a class of clear. So that's a trick. And now you know how to use floats to style divs and display divs inline.